Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to DCS. And today we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Kola map made by Orbx, their first entry into the sim, longtime maker of Flight Simulator and X-Plane scenery, the first time in DCS. We're going to take a look at this relatively large map and see what's what in it. There's some good notes, some bad notes, and we're going to cover all of them. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, we're going to start our tour on the western side of this map. We're at about 14,000 MSL over Bodo Airport. And from altitude, this map looks tremendous. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love it so much I can't speak correctly. I am recording this the day after release. I spent the day of just kind of traversing the map, both like we are going to today, just in the F11 view, but as well as in the Vigan, getting ideas for how DCS's new weather system interacts with mountains and thermals like that. You do see a little bit of pop-in for some of the contact shadows. So your mileage will vary. I am on a, what's my GPU? I'm running a RTX 30, it's either 30, no, it's a 3070 Ti. And I have a i9 10900K processor with more RAM than you'll ever need to run DCS because I do other work that requires it. What do I have? I think I've got like 128 gigs, which actually isn't that much in the realm of DCS. So those are my computer specs. All of my DCS settings are set mid-high. The first thing that we are going to see a lot of is just generally lower ground texturing. And it seems to kind of improve over time, but there is going to be a lot of blurry ground textures, especially compared to the other handcrafted stuff. Like you can see our taxiways, our runways, our terminal buildings, that sort of thing. But I mean, overall, I think it's a very good start. Orbx does already have a roadmap for this map. This is the initial release, but there's plans to expand, add winter textures. Currently, winter textures are not available for this map. And then there's also plans to add, oh, did you guys hear that? All right. So another thing we're going to look at is sounds. We'll get to that in a second. But increasing textures with not photogrammetry. I forgot exactly what it was. It's not photogrammetry, but to make a lot of the natural textures look really good. One thing I will say is the terrain vector data is super sharp. It's just the textures on top of them aren't. I'm gonna have to boost this in post, so this is your official reminder to do so. But let's go back over to that roadway. So it's kind of nice actually to get like some ambience, which is what we would expect out of other DCS modules. These vehicles here, I can't tell if they are new and proprietary to this map or if they're recycled. Obviously we're in a European theater, so I would expect some European looking cars. I don't know exactly what these resemble. Maybe Seat Leon Cupra or something like that, and this is I couldn't tell you. Generic looking, maybe Sprinter vans, at least from the back. From the front I couldn't tell you. So a few vehicles, but some traffic ambience, which is nice. On larger roads, we'll see some actual moving traffic, but for now it's just static. And you've got like a Scania-looking truck there. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on any one individual place. The largest amount of time we're going to spend is here because I did all my intro stuff. So let's do a big fly out here from Bodo Airport. Over up past the mountain ranges. And again, at altitude, this looks very, 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 very nice. we're at, I'm going to reckon 20,000. Not even close, almost 40,000. But as you do get closer, those textures do kind of deteriorate. I'm recording everything natively at 1440p. Now here we are down at 7,000 feet. So if you're doing any mountain type peekaboo stuff, or if you're trying to fly a seed mission against, I don't know, an anti-aircraft installation that's on the other side of a mountain range, this is kind of what you're going to be expecting. Again, there are plans to improve this, and based on Orbx's performance in other sims, I do believe them. For those of you guys who don't play either Flight Simulator or X-Plane or any of the other things that they made, both scenery and I believe aircraft. Does Orbx make air? No, the Orbx, I'm thinking of Coronado. They have a marketplace, Orbx does. And they sell other folks' aircraft. They don't make aircraft, just scenery, if I'm not mistaken. But I love the contact shadows. They look great. Real-time haze. This is your default 8 o'clock a.m. setting in the DCS mission editor. We'll take a look at a few other times a day later on in the video. Again, you've got airport out there in the distance. Really, really good LED. Obviously, textures do reduce a little bit of distance, but nothing too bad. A lot of wilderness terrain, a lot of inlet and outlet waterways that you can follow. Again, on the western coastline, a lot of mountain ranges. We'll take a look at the F10 map. Again, there's Bodo Airport where we started. So you can see on the western coastline, just tons and tons of mountain ranges for you to do any sort of stuff, and then it all flattens out. I was doing a leg from, I'm going to murder these names, I'm sorry. I think it was I flying from Kiruna? Yeah, from Kiruna down to Torino? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But doing that leg, and then I flew up to there in the Vigan, and it almost reminded me of flying in the Midwest, because it did just kind of look like that, spotted with little lakes. Like if you fly up in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, it's kind of what it looks like. Let's go to a larger population center and see what that looks like. Now, I do remember my performance decreasing significantly here. I don't know if that was due to other things that I was doing, like I had Chrome tabs playing and that sort of thing, whereas I don't have that now, but my performance did decrease significantly at this airport in the Vigan. But it looks like that's not going to be the case today. Everything's still, for the most part, pretty smooth. A little bit of a frame drop I'm detecting, but still definitely playable. At least I would say so. Again, more the same vehicle traffic. You know, we're not really here for vehicle traffic. We're here for the airport itself. Again, civilian terminal, including a Challenger 9000 looking, except it's got cabs on both sides. How about that? Terminal building. I'm guessing, I don't know. Little scissor lifts, you'll find these sprinkled around airports, that sort of thing. Over to the military side. And we've got nice detail on, I'm assuming this is a VOR tower, or it could be a ADF also. VORs usually have those big bowling pins. What's on the map? TACAN. Good old TACAN. Oh, good. There's a shitty car idling outside. Anyway, over to the military side. Very, very good array and selection of hangars to pick from, so you're not ever going to be launching necessarily from the same hangar at any airfield. There's my performance drop. I just had to tab out and tab back in, so you can see now where, God, the post effects I have on the video are smoothing that out, but on my screen it's a little bit choppy. Again, I'd call this marginal playable, but tons and tons of different hangar options, lots of new assets also, which is really refreshing. It's always good to see new hangar style assets. You know, we didn't just plop down the let me turn off my, there we go. Didn't just plop down stuff that pre-existed like from like the Syria map or something like that. So that's always good. Kind of loose, generic mill parking area. I think this is a new asset as well, this little gatehouse. It's a really nice rip, actually. I guess you could do it south to, or north to south, but I did south to north. Ski ramps there, that's pretty cool. Again, I'm sure this will look even better come with the winter textures. But this riverway here, if I go back to the F10, you can do a really nice direct run from here and just follow this river all the way up. Doing low level flying, you'll pass over a couple dams, and then you can land here and refuel if you want to do some low level flying. Not a whole lot to report at this airport here. It's again, there's nothing wrong with it at all, but again, generic terminal building. Very small hangar there. I don't even know if you could fit a yak in there. Obviously substantially larger hangar. Yeah, so the parking for there is outside. Let's go to here, and then we'll fly north. You can see a little bit of popping on the map. We'll give the textures a second to pull from my SSD. But again, so just remember all that mountainous terrain we were out on before, and we've got, you know, maybe gentle rolling foothills now at this point, if anything. I mean, it's not Montana flat, but it's relatively flat. And in fact, you can even see some of the mountains out here in the distance. So, all right, and a little bit of a time of day change. We're in the late evening. It's actually at 2100 local time, but because we're so far north and we're in June, the sun is still pretty well crested. But this should give us a better idea of how the sun affects and bounces off of the different hillsides and the different shadows you get. So if we go opposite the sun, put the sun to our backs, you can kind of get a rough idea of how that looks. It's like a potential glacial run once the snow effects come in. What this looks like to me is a glacial run, except it's green. So, but we've got another airport to take a quick gander at. Again, as we duck below the mountains, you can see the sun begin to get obscured. Not too much unique to report here. The one thing I do like about this airport is over here. This is a these are taxiways, so you can taxi on this super narrow taxiway and have trees either side to your runway here. It's probably actually a service road, but I'm gonna pretend it's a taxiway because I want to. Nice burn tower simulation airplane thing. Again, relatively custom terminal here. Weird building there, control tower. More of that same traffic in the background. A little bit of Orbx being cheeky here, Orbx Express. It got a nasal exhale out of me. Anyways, so we're on the northern side of the map now. We'll take a look at some of the buildings. I do expect... there's the street sounds. I do expect some repeat assets. Hopefully not as much as what we saw on the Sinai map release, although it's looking like it. I don't know. I mean, DCS is very interesting game. It makes sense as to why we would repeat a lot of assets, right? That way, you know, you're not loading as many. It just was certain assets like this food plus store here. I wish there wasn't one right here also. So little stuff like that. The little houses I can get over. You know, you have, these are obviously the same house right next to each other. But they stand out a little bit less, or you could pretend that those are, same thing here. That they were like a, like almost like a Viridian home neighborhood thing where they just like have a floor plan, have a house, and they just build tons of them and sometimes make them a different color. You can really get away with it with like, blocks or apartment blocks, depending on your region of the world. Like this. Little small town. Well, I do like it. Let's find, we might have actually already visited it, but let's find the largest city on the map here. I think it's one of these, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because that's the port town. I want to do that for two reasons. One, I want to look at the architecture there. Oh, these look like big fun mountains. We're taking a detour. We're going here first. Oh, it's a mine. Very cool. A little bit of a shadowing issue. I think that's the trees doing that. Make sure it's not my, yeah, it's not. So a little bit of a shadow issue. I'm sure that'll get cleaned up at some point. And again, just overall, even with my reshade off, you can see just lower textures. The reshade makes it look a little bit worse because it's designed to highlight textures. To me, this almost looks like Google Earth satellite imagery or something similar. Satellite imagery overlaid onto here, which Orbx is known for. But it's usually a little bit more polished than this. So again, from this altitude, 10,000 feet, we're fine. But if we're, there's an airport somewhere nearby here, I thought, maybe not. I don't know, but if you're flying a helo or something, you know, this is, probably not going to work for you. Especially when, you know, doesn't make sense. I think these lighter color things are the roadways driving down into the mine. It's like when the satellite captured this image, it was a different time of day than we're seeing right now. So you can see like there's a little shadow. I don't know. I'm over focusing on it. The moral of the story here is that we are going to need a little bit of work with the texturing, but the terrain vector data, I will say, looks very, very good overall. And again, you get far enough away, it looks reasonably okay. That was one of the things I wanted to look at, and then there was like a rail yard or something else not too far from it. Look at these industrial buildings. They're just nothing too special there. Yeah, there's the rail yard. Do we have train assets on this map? I don't know. Judging by the flatness of the rail system, I'm gonna say probably not yet. That doesn't mean I don't. You could probably still place like static trains or place a moving train if you wanted to. But if you think of like the Caucasus map or the Nevada map, they have just ambient trains. I think even the Normandy map, or maybe it's the Channel map, has just ambient trains running around. Here's a little bit of traffic. Same assets we saw before. Nothing terribly special. And they have lights that they cast on the ground. But nothing really outside of that. We'll go to a busier motorway here. See if we can find a truck or something. Well, maybe not. I've seen mobile trucks, but again, I think it's just the same same asset as before. Anyway, large city was our original plan of attack here, and I got sidetracked. I'm gonna go here, see all my performance hits. So one of the things, I actually haven't seen this yet myself, but I'm fairly certain it's this port up here is nice and densely packed with like static naval assets. So looking forward to getting over there. Really interesting building design here. Again, we're going to see some repetition. That's just kind of how DCS is, unfortunately. It's really the only way you can make something like this run on, excuse me, as architecture as old as DCS is on. I'm curious to see what Eagle Dynamics is going to do going forward. Granted, for those of you guys, and I don't want this to just be a rag fest, for those of you guys who remember Flaming Cliffs, not even DCS World or Digital Combat Simulator A10, Flaming Cliffs, which evolved into Flaming Cliffs 3, which is when you buy a FC3 airplane, that's where that's coming from, is the Flaming Cliffs 3 game. Y'all remember like the graphics, handling, and requirements on that game? And it has essentially just become this. So I mean, they're, for my opinion, absolutely kicking butt with the limitations. They recently were able to figure out, obviously, the multi-threading and that sort of thing. So it's not just a hit on fest. Anyway, you hear the sound transition as we came into the harbor. You can hear the water effects again. Another little bit of a shading issue with oh wow. When I move, you move. Just like that. All right. It's not a whole lot in the world of ambient, and it's a really aggressive transition. So, you know, now we're Quiet City Streets. If I go to the right, and I'll do this slowly. It's like a partial port. Yeah, it just cuts in. You guys hear that? So, and again, that's unfortunately that's how a lot of DCS maps are. So I'm not specifically criticizing Orbx for this in any way, shape, or form. Let's see if we can find some of these naval boats I was looking for. There they are, I think. Yeah. There's also a submarine. I don't remember if it's like a Typhoon class, but it's just a generic looking submarine. So I believe these are all new static assets. These military looking boats with the ribs on the back. There's no ornament on them, but I can see at least. But just based on the hull shape and the fact that there's ribs on them, and they don't look much like a yacht. Although if I owned a yacht, this is 100% what I would make it look like. It would look like a warship. It just wouldn't have guns. That you know. So. Interesting color disparity. Obviously, you've got the gray-blue top with this one, and then the green with the other. Some barges over there in the distance. Those are recycle asset. What are these? These little tugs? Little tugs. Pilot boat. They're not tugs. Maybe they're like a ferry or something. Sailboats we've seen hundreds of times before. Don't know if these barges are new or not. I don't recall seeing them, but at the same time, I'm not out here like flying around to look at the watercraft of DCS. More barges. Turn off my reshade so we can see what's going on. Looks like they're doing coal loading here. There's a locomotive. Look at that. This is their static locomotive. Let's get real nitpicky. Look at it. It doesn't even line up perfectly with the rails. Gosh, Orbx. I'm going to be able to tell that from 4,000 feet. Yeah, generic coal loading, which is fine. Guess that would make sense. They train it up from those mines we were at before to here. For the same transport ships. I'm getting itchy here. I was promised a submarine docking location, and I'm not seeing it. But it's okay. We'll keep exploring all of the other map bits and pieces while I search hopelessly for my submarine. Look at those forklifts, huh? Oh, I let go of the control key. Now, do you think those are Toyotas? Hitachis? Not Yale's. Yale doesn't make orange forklifts. That sun's, it's pretty, but it's bright. Let's find a new location. What's going on up here? My submarines. So yeah, these are just static assets from the game. So that is a Russian submarine there. Kilo class, I believe. And I don't know, is this like a type something Chinese submarine? Oh no, it's the designation, but there you go. There's my submarines. I'm a happy sponge. Big old missile silos. Fun fact, if you have a conning tower with windows like you see on this Kilo class here, that whole area is unpressurized, so seawater just goes in there. Because otherwise you'd blow the windows out at depth. Same thing with this guy here. So you can go in the conning tower. You'll just be wet and crushed. Very cool to see. Oh look, and they've actually they've got one getting laid out. This is the Typhoon. What was the one that I'm gonna get the name wrong. Oh, this is the same thing I was looking at before. It was a gigantic Russian submarine, had twin props, blew its own nose off, and the Soviets at the time lied about it. All of all of NATO was willing to help them find it, and they're like, no, it's fine. And then they died. Very sad. That's cool. I like this little dry dock layout thing here, even if there is seawater, or not seawater, land right on the edge of it. It's very cool. All right, I've got my submarines. Let's go explore the western side of the island. I said west, I meant east. Surprise, Sample doesn't know his cardinal directions. Here's a look at the map with a little bit of convective weather going on. Just a quick little glance. We're not going to deep delve into the map. We are on the eastern edge of the map currently. And rain effects and all that sort of good stuff. Just to give you an idea of lighting, it's early morning. Rain, reduced visibility, all that sort of stuff. Those beautiful volumetric clouds. I stand by. DCS has the best looking volumetric clouds out of every simulator out there. X-Plane can't touch them. Microsoft Flight Sim can't touch them. Look at those clouds. Look at those clouds. Amazing. Anyway, we'll continue our Eastern tour with some better weather. All right, and keeping the different lighting themes going, we've got a low light situation here. A truck with alternate color headlights. I'm sure that's completely DOT approved there. But you can see there's your ambient traffic. Not a lot of it. I do have traffic density turned all the way up in DCS. But enough to give the roads, busier roads, at least a little bit of livelihood as you approach your airport. Ooh, there's an A319 flying overhead, or a A320 series family. I can hear those growly CFM56s. Can you hear them? No, you can't. Not unless I'm talking. So I'm just going to keep talking through it. That A39, I bet you that's a Legion Airlines plane, huh? Oh, Legion. I mean, not really good old. They do have that cheap flight out to Vegas. Anyway, hangars at night, I do like the alternate color red amongst the white fluorescent lights. Flame diverter trench in the back here. Turn off that reshade so we can see where it goes. Yeah, just straight up and out the back. Very cool. Yeah, it's a little bit dark with the reshader that I have on that I'm using. See, there's your PAPI lights. On some airports, they're actually individually controlled. So like if you're landing with an ILS, these lights will just physically change color based on your position. But on a lot of them, all they are, they're not like this. They don't look like this. They are a light with white that shines up. There's just a like a mechanical divider, like a little piece of metal, so you can only see it above a certain angle. And then there's a red light, same thing, a piece of metal, so you can only see it at a lower angle. So as you're coming into land, you can get an idea of if you're too high, like we are now, to what are 4 white, too high, versus too low. There's our 3 red, 4 red, way too low. Where you want to be is 2 white and 2 red. Like that. And you just keep it like that all the way in. We're coming a little high. You get the idea. We've already buzzed through this airport. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of the lower light conditions. Look at the little reindeer. That's very cool. Missed that before. So lots of little Easter eggs, stuff like that I do like. There was, I don't remember if it was this airport or not. I don't think it was this airport, but there were a couple of airports where I landed and you not quite. Okay. Essentially you had this situation going on, but across the entire runway. So you had just grass kind of protruding through a very paved surface. Maybe it was down here. Nope. All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to find it. Don't think it was this airport. But anyway, that's something I'm willing to forgive. That's something that Orbx can clean up. Look at those city lights in the distance. Doesn't that look great? Clouds could use a little bit of work. Just because of, and that's not the map. That's just DCS's lighting with the clouds I have selected. Boy, doesn't ignoring the clouds, doesn't that city look good? Like you get rid of the clouds, that could be a screenshot. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Anyway, out to the far eastern side, there's really not a whole lot to report as far as cities or anything like that. Terrain is a lot flatter than what's on the western coast, but you do have your nice little foothills and that sort of stuff. So turn our shader off for a little bit here, just so you can really take in the dense forestry and all that sort of stuff. This is natural DCS. This is my reshade. And we'll go back to natural. But it is a very, very unique map. I'm definitely, I'm happy with where it is. It is on sale right now, so you can get it for, I think it's like $56 or something like that. At that price point, I do think I would like a little bit more detail on just these uncovered textures. You know, with the trees, it looks okay, but you get the uncovered textures, especially when you get to like mountains and stuff like that. I do think that you need a little bit more polish, and maybe this looks okay on like a 1440p on a 1080 setup. This might look okay. I'm recording at 1440p and I'm downscaled that. I'm playing the game in 4K, so native 4K. It's 38 something by 2160 as compared to the 4K that so that's actually, I don't know my resolutions. There's a 4K that people claim is 4K, and it's like 2.5K. I don't know. I don't know my resolutions. People call 1440p 2K sometimes. So anyway, you guys, that is the Kola map in DCS. Available now. Came out yesterday. I'm reviewing it today. I'll upload this video sometime later, and you guys will all be watching it. But that is going to do it for me in this video. I want to thank you guys for watching it as always, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that might be. I'm you might have noticed taking a little bit of a step back from this channel. I'll do product reviews or interesting things as they come out, but the weekly stuff's kind of done for now. I have other ventures that I'm gonna be looking to get into, so that'll do it. Another new boat. This is the Lenin. Oh God. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.